Well, thank you so much for having me today. I'm glad to be here. Um, so today for my presentation, I was just going to go over getting started with the Talking Book and Braille Library and some of the resources that we offer for people around Wisconsin to provide accessible material. So the Wisconsin Talking Book and Braille Library, if the slide will go forward, is a free audio and braille library for residents of Wisconsin with print disabilities. We serve the whole state of Wisconsin, and we're part of the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled. So we're part of the Library of Congress, and there is a Talking Book and Braille library in every state. So if someone moves out of state, they can always take the service with them. Which is convenient if you're relocating somewhere outside of Wisconsin. So we primarily provide our service in two ways, either via the mail or digitally. If someone wants to receive service through the mail, we will mail them the digital cartridges, the book player, the Braille material, and now also we do have a Braille reader, although that's not coming directly from us. It is actually coming from the Utah Talking Book and Braille Library. All free of charge. It's sent via Free Matter for the blind or physically handicapped. Or we can also provide access to the NLS's database of audio and Braille material, which is available for download. There are tons and tons of books on this database of accessible material that patrons can have instant access to if they are interested in accessing it. So those are the two ways we can provide the service. As I mentioned before, we are available for anyone with a print disability. So that can include vision impairment, blindness, a physical handicap, or reading disability. So anyone who has trouble using standard print or handling a book can qualify for the service. To get started, we do have an application that has to be signed off. We have a pretty big range of who can sign off. Fortunately, the NLS recently loosened its restrictions on reading disability certifiers, which we were very happy about. It no longer has to be a medical doctor. It can now be a whole range of people, including teachers and librarians and other people who come in close contact all the time with people with reading disabilities. So instead of just a medical doctor, which didn't make sense. So to get started, the first thing you will do is complete the application. I have a quick screenshot of the first page of the application, which is just basic information about where you live, so we know how to get in touch with you, where to send material, what would qualify you for the service. We are more than happy to send you a paper copy of the application, or we do also have them available for download if you have internet access. So they can be returned digitally. You don't have to print them off and have them signed. On the second page, we now do accept digital signatures. Or they can be returned via the mail if you would prefer that, to send a paper copy. We also accept fax copies, emailed copies if you scan it and print it. So we have a huge range of different ways that you can send back in your application. So as I mentioned before, the second page does have to be signed by someone familiar with your condition. It can be almost anyone who works closely, who knows, what's going on. It can be a librarian, a nurse, an optometrist, social worker, teacher, anyone like that. Just make sure someone signs it. So the third page is the more interesting page. it's goes through some of the different ways that we can provide the service and different equipment that we can offer. So if you want to receive the service just via a personal mobile device, that would be the first option, where you would be just downloading directly to either a smart device, or if you have a Braille reader, anything where you would just be downloading material from Bard is the first option. The second option would be if you want to both download material, but also get a player from us, which is totally fine. We're more than happy to have you do both. Some people ask questions about whether or not it's okay to do both. And of course it is. We have more than enough material, you're not gonna be keeping anyone else from it. So the second one is if you want to download your own material and also get a player. You can also get a player and download audiobooks and also still receive hard copy Braille and hard copy Braille magazines. The third option is if you don't have a personal device where you want to download material and you just want us to mail you material. And that would include the digital player, the audiobooks, Braille material if you want that, and any other magazine subscriptions, the music appreciation, all of the different things that we can provide if you are interested in them. Now, if that changes at any point and you do want access to the digital material, just let us know and we'll get you signed up for Bard. So that's, it's not anything that's hard and fast. We can always change it. So the third page of the application just lets us know reading preferences. So we can either send out books automatically or just by request list only. Really depends on your preference. So we recently changed our cartridges so that we put multiple books on one cartridge. We're doing anywhere from usually just 1 or 2 books on a cartridge up to 20 books on a cartridge, depending on our patrons' preference and how quickly they go through material. So this page will let you select which categories you like if you want the computer to go through and pick out your books. It would also allow you to indicate any preferred authors that you want added, any series that you might be interested in, if you want exclusions for violence or language or sex or something like that. And if you have any particular titles you want added right away, we can also do that if you indicate them on the application. If you don't have any that you specifically want right away, excuse me, we can always add them later. That's not a problem. When we're processing your application, someone will probably give you a call and say, hey, is there anything you want right away? And then we'll just get those added. But if there's nothing you want right away, that's not a big deal either. So that's how you get started with the service and getting the application signed up and everything. Once you've done that, you want to start ordering books, of course. So the easiest way to order books is to just call us and let us know what you're interested in. You can either have us look up authors you're interested in, categories, like if you want, for example, World War II fiction, or, if you have I don't know, if you love mystery genres, we can do some of those searches. You can also just email us and we can do searches for that. We do have a catalog with the newest books that have been added called the Talking Book Topics. Unfortunately, this year, the NLS has informed us that we are not going to be able to provide the large print copies due to a paper shortage. So if you would like to receive the large print copy of the Talking Book Topics, it does have to either be on audio by subscription or on download or through Bard on cartridge. We do also have it available online where you can view it, or if you have a printer, you can print it off yourself too. But we have not been able to provide access to it, which in the past we've always been able to do. So that's kind of been a barrier that we've been encountering this year. And kind of a bummer for a lot of patrons who relied on the Talking Book Topics for some of the newer books that we got added. But we do have the option of viewing it through a number of different ways if people are interested in looking at it. So we also have an abridged version of the Talking Book Topics that's included in the Braille book review. If someone would like to see that one too. So if you are interested in ordering books for yourself to get sent out to you, you can also go to the online catalog where we can give you your login information after we have an account set up for you. You can log in and order books. We do set up the username and password, so you would need to call us first and get your username and password. But once you have that, you can do searches to find different types of books that you're interested in. So I have a slide on the next page. Once you've done, so this search, I believe I did a Regency romance search, and you can kind of see here that there's a little number next to each book. You check the little number and then add your book to the book basket and check out. It's a little confusing because once you check out, the book just disappears, but it does get added on our end to your account. But that's another way that if you are interested in adding books to your account, you can add a different selection too if you're not feeling like calling us at the moment. So another thing that's recently changed with the service is that the book cartridges with multiple titles on them no longer have due dates. So we used to check books out for 2 months and then have them, you were able to renew them for another 2 months. And there wasn't any overdue or late fines, but we did periodically send out letters just saying, hey, do you still have this book? You've had it a long time. We no longer have the due dates on the books, the cartridges. However, if you want more books, at some point you do have to return one of the cartridges so we can send it out. We do have a maximum number of cartridges that people can have at one time, which is 5. That is not a maximum that we actually set. It was set by the NLS, basically for supply reasons. So if you have 5 cartridges at once and you need more books, you will have to return one of them. The magazines, unlike the books, do still have due dates. They're checked out for the weekly ones for 3 weeks and the monthly ones for 7 weeks. The audio described DVDs also are still checked out for a month and can't be renewed. So even though the books, that's changed, everything else still has some due dates. The machines can be kept for the duration of the service or until you need a replacement. So if you need a replacement, let us know. We'll send you a new one. You can send back the one that's not working. So as I just mentioned there, we do also have magazines, which are available for subscriptions. So you can get them automatically, or you can download them. If you're downloading books on Bard, the magazines are all on there with the older copies on there. So if you're interested in an older edition of the magazine, you can download it on Bard. If you're interested in staying more with the current magazines, you can get a subscription and those will be sent to you automatically. There is a bit of a backlog right now with the magazines, so I don't know that everyone's been getting them as fast as they would necessarily want to, but we do have that option available. As well as the audio described DVDs. We have about 1,500 audio described DVDs available for checkout, which, as I mentioned, can be checked out for a month. You can have up to 3 at once. And then, of course, you can have them on your request list, and we'll send them out as we get them back in. So.
Hey, Katie.
Oh, yeah.
This is Ramsey. I just have a quick question because
yeah, definitely.
I know you're a great service. Can you tell the people on the call about NFB Newsline, because a lot of them might be interested in that? That's a phone service that you can have people read the newspaper with you, and it's a real good service. So if you sign up for the Talking Book Library, they can help you sign up for the newsletter.
Oh, that's a good point. I actually forgot to mention that. Yeah, you're right. We do also provide access to NFB Newsline, which is over the phone, where you can actually, it has a bunch of really cool features. You can dial in and listen to the newspaper. There's a bunch of local newspapers as well as national newspapers. And you can actually even listen to the Talking Book Topics if you want over NFB Newsline. They actually have an app where you can do a lot of really cool stuff, some stuff I don't even know, like there's a bunch of different cool features. I believe that was what you were referring to, right, Ramsey?
Yeah, and yeah, if you signed up for the library, you can get signed up for Newsline, and there's a bunch of different stuff like there's magazines and newspapers and all kinds of stuff. So like the aid will be fantabulous, and I know there's some people that wanna learn about bars on here that are having trouble finding bars, but if they need to get a hold of you, their number is 1-800-242-8822. Yep.
Yeah. So I do have some more slides about BARD too, so I will talk about that a little bit. But yeah, you're right. I don't go into BARD quite as in detail. Oh, I just bumped slides, but I will talk about that too a little bit more. So one of the other cool things that you can get signed up to for, because Ramsey was talking about a bunch of the different stuff that we provide. This slide is about ABLE, which is one of the organizations that we work with that does and helps us provide a lot of the really interesting stuff. They do a lot of our local recording. So if we don't have a book, they will actually, we can often get it recorded, like a Wisconsin book or another book that a patron may be interested in. They also provide a lot of our Braille material. For example, when we do a newsletter, ABLE will often, well, no, they always Braille it for us. They also record it so we can provide it in audio. And they are actually located right next to us. They're in the same building with us. So I always feel like I should mention them because they do a bunch of really great work providing some of the material we provide. So they they make it for us. So so that we work really closely with them. So this is just a picture of, well, a sketch of what the basic player looks like. It has some of the different features on it where you can change the tone and the speed of the books. So if you like listening to your material faster, which is something I prefer, I like it when the reader reads a little bit faster. Or if you want to change the tone of the reader, you can do that on the player, which is something you can't do on a lot of commercial sites. So and then I also have a picture of the advanced player. So one of the benefits of the advanced player is it's not so much a newer edition, but it does have more buttons. Let's see, I think there's 5 more buttons that the advanced player has compared to the basic player. And basically what those buttons will do is they allow for more navigation within the audiobooks. And the navigation that's provided does depend a lot on what audiobook you're listening to, because if the book is not marked up in a way that allows the player to navigate it, the player, you can't use the advanced buttons anyways. So even though this player will allow you to do more navigation, if the book isn't made that way, you can't do much with it. So it does also provide the bookmark button. So if you find a part in the book, you can go back to it easily by marking it. So those are some of the cool features about the advanced player. So I did put a slide in here about navigating the multiple title cartridges because of the change with the number of titles that we're putting on each cartridge. We have had a lot of patrons call in and ask how to use the bookshelf mode, which once you get the hang of it, and if you have a player that's working correctly, can be easy to use, but it can be, if your player is not working correctly, it can be really frustrating. So basically, if your player is working correctly, you just hold down the play stop button until it says bookshelf, and then use the forward and rewind buttons to move forward to the next book or back to the previous book. If your player has not had the correct software update, we may need to send you a new player so that you can actually navigate through your multiple title cartridge. So if you have any issues when you're trying to navigate the bookshelf function, please give us a call, and don't think it's something you're doing, because it's oftentimes just a software thing. I've been on the phone with a lot of patrons who were trying to do the bookshelf function, and it was definitely the player doing some weird things. So
so the device is not Wi-Fi at all then?
It's not, no.
Okay.
Yeah, the player does not connect to Wi-Fi as of right now. So this one doesn't.
No, it's okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's, because then you would have to get a new device then. If you can't do updates with it. No worries.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
So we I guess I didn't talk about this. As far as sending material back, when your mailing cartridge is back, you just take the mailing card out of the cartridge. Our address is on each of the cases. Before you had to turn the cartridge or the card over, and now you can just take it out. You can throw the card away. The barcode is associated with the account, so we don't have to worry about the card being matched up with the cartridge anymore. With the machine, just turn the card over on the box and then it can be sent back. All the material can be sent via Free Matter for the Blind or Physically Handicapped. In place of a stamp, you don't have to pay for any of the postage or anything. So that's not something you have to worry about when you're sending materials, paying for it. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we do also provide material digitally via Bard, which is the Braille audio reading download. Bard has over 120,000 audiobooks on it. I think there's about 30,000 downloadable Braille books. It has 40 languages, and that's continuing to grow as the NLS continues to pick up more Marrakesh Treaty books. So if you're looking for something to download, and we have it, it will be on Bard. The only exception to that is some of the earlier produced local titles may not be, but everything else should be up there. So Bard can be used on a flash drive downloaded from the computer. It currently does not do playback on the computer, although that is something they are working on. So if you want to do direct playback, it does have to be on a mobile device. It should work through Alexa. I know there was some debate for a while, it was working and then it had stopped working. But I've talked to some people who have said it does work when you tell Alexa to play it. So that too, it's one of the things that the NLS is working on updating, and it changes very quickly whether or not it works. So okay, so I guess there are 12,000 web Braille books and 150,000 audio books. This is a screenshot of a search for the series Outlander. So one of the cool things you can do when you're on Bard is you can subscribe to a series. So when you subscribe to a series, it will automatically add the new books that have been added to Bard to your wish list. So if you subscribe to the Harry Potter series and J.K. Rowling wrote a new book, it would automatically get added to your wish list to download when you're interested in reading it. So that's kind of a nice feature that you can do. They did also, the NLS also recently updated Bard so that you can actually search on your wish list, which I know was something that we had people ask about before. If you have a really long wish list, it's nice to be able to find something quickly rather than scrolling through the whole thing. So those are some of the changes that the NLS has recently started to make. So these are just screenshots of what the app Bard looks like on the phone. On the far left-hand side, you can see that it kind of is laid out in a similar way to the player, where you have the different buttons where you can move through and navigate the button, then the book, and then you can change the speed, go out, and if you hit the different levels of the book, you can navigate different levels, as well as use the bookmark function. And then the 3 or 4 tabs at the bottom are all different ways you can look through what you have available, what you want to get, your settings, as well as what you're currently reading. So there's each of those tabs are where you will find either the material that you currently have on the device or different ways to search for the material. So those are some of just the basic, I guess, screens you would see when you're in the device. So a couple other things that I was gonna quick mention are a couple different ways that we have that people can kind of get more involved with the library. One of the things that I lead is our bi-monthly book club, which meets every other month. We do 2 meetings on usually the first or second Tuesday of the month. The group picks the books. I take suggestions throughout the year, and then people call in We have a 1:30 and a 6:30 meeting, and we usually stay fairly good on topic, although not always, and discuss the book that we read for that month. So our next meeting is going to be in June. We just met on April 5th. And I think this last month, we did kind of have a smaller group. I only had, I think, 7 people for my afternoon meeting, and my evening meeting only had about 5 people. So sometimes I get a lot bigger groups than that, sometimes a lot smaller. So it always depends on, what else is going on. So, and the time of year, if everybody's busy. So that's one of the things that we have going on if people are interested. And then we also have the Winter Reading Challenge, which takes place every February, where the suggestion is to read 20 minutes every day and then log it in the calendar. This is a picture of the calendar from last year. It's in Braille and large print. It's sent out in an envelope and also providing a return envelope so that once you're done, you can just stick it in the envelope and send it back. And then if you complete the calendar, you get a prize. Same thing with our summer reading challenge, which is a bingo sheet, although this is not a picture of what the bingo sheet looked like. This is just the Word document. The actual bingo sheet we provide is in Braille print and Braille and large print. And once you complete it, you can mail it back in the envelope provided and also get a prize. And last year we opened it up to adults as well as kids, and we had over 90 people around the state participate, so we had a really good turnout. So those are the main things going on right now with us, but I am certainly open to questions or any other comments that people had. I guess I can stop sharing my screen.
Go ahead, Ramsey. I know you want a question.
Yeah.
Just one question. So, for your book club, is there an age limit for that? Because I would like to join your book club, and I would also like to help the library a little bit. So I realize I live all the way in Hudson, but I promote the library big time throughout the state. So is there an age limit for your book club, or what book are you reading right now that you're gonna discuss in June?
So there's not an age limit. We don't have any like kids or anything. It's all adults. And the book we are reading for June is The Last Trial, I think, by Scott Turow. The book we read for April was The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. But yeah, we would love to have you join. I could definitely, if you want, I could email you the information, to call in and everything. And thank you for promoting the library, though. The more people who talk about it and tell people is great. So
yeah, because like I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I think we have a lot of members that could benefit from this. So thank you so much.
yeah.
Now, do people get assistance if they don't, do not understand the application process
Um,
that well.
yeah, so that's kind of harder because a lot of people aren't close by. So if they need help,
Okay.
we it's hard for us to provide assistance, if they're not in the Milwaukee area. But yes, I would recommend someone, especially if they're low vision, or if they don't understand it. Because if, then I would definitely recommend, having someone help. Um, it's a little bit harder if someone's not nearby though.
Good. Is there any accommodation, like in the future? I don't know what you like the company's, library plan is in the future. Is there any accommodations that are going to be implemented and for the blind and for people with like physical disabilities so they can access this information by themselves if they know how to fill out the application? If they,
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think broader.
Yeah.
sense.
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm not sure what we could do that
Okay.
would make it easier so that it would be,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, here's what I'm kind of, so I'm filling out forms right now, tax forms, everything else
Yep.
for a new grant that I'm doing for New Hampshire. Could you make the application in PDF?
It depends on how probably not. I don't know that we have
Okay,
the technology to do it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine, because libraries, I mean, let's be honest, libraries don't get enough money for the, I mean,
Exactly.
let's just be honest here. So, I mean, what could we do as People Force Wisconsin organization to help you get the resources? Because I think there's a lot of potential here.
Yeah.
I mean, for like people who need, I think there is, because like need assistive technology, need just a broader scope. I know I'm not trying to talk out of line here, but
No,
I'm just trying to think of ways that people are more independent, so they don't have to have someone. They're very smart. They have bachelor's degrees, master degrees, but they can't fill out the application because it's not accommodation enough. It's not accommodating them enough. And how could we, as people, go ahead, Ramsey.
I'm sorry, Nathaniel. I think
No, it's okay.
I think what he was asking is if people need assistance filling it out, can they give you a call on the phone? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yes.
Well, yeah, that's we are certainly available for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about, I'm trying to think a broader scope than that. Like, we're People First Wisconsin organization, and how can we collaborate? Okay. And collaboration is working with another source where people want to meet in this middle.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just thinking, how can People First Wisconsin assist this wonderful program to make it more inclusive, to make it more like, is there any implemented ideas that we can have more? I'm just thinking of broader, and maybe we can have a talk later down the road, Katie.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
I think there's a lot of room to grow here that people can, do they have to go to Katie? Do they have to, is there any way that we could make it more inclusive for the individual so they can be more independent? and be able to do the job themselves.
Yeah.
And I think it's more rewarded if a person who has a disability has that. Um, I don't know if I'm talking out of turn, and I think this is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful program and everything, because you have everything lined up practically. I mean,
Yeah, but
but
I completely see what you're saying though. There's no, you know, I think it makes sense to make it as, as accessible and as easy to use for people, for everyone, because
exactly.
why not, have it so that the people it's meant to be for can use it, So I guess
It's,
I'm just seeing, I'm trying to think of something that would make it.
and I'm not trying to put, I'm not, and this is the question where it doesn't have to be answered today.
Yeah,
It doesn't
yeah,
have to be answered tomorrow. It doesn't have to be answered next week. But I'm like going to other coalition meetings
yeah,
and I'm like thinking, I'm a person with a disability. And it's like my job is now, how could I implement or have it more inclusive for people who are blind or who have MS or who have cerebral palsy or who have Parkinson's. And I think that's where People First Wisconsin comes in. I think that's where I think that, so, and I have to, because for me, I go on Kindle, I have to get the audiobook and the book. So it has when the audiobook reads, it has the gray line that goes over the words so I can understand the book.
yeah,
But that costs a lot of money, so I don't order so many of those. But I just think that there is different different ways that we could think about, and it takes time. I don't know it does, but I just want to make sure that if Mara wants to pick up, type an email, and she can able to access anything without, pick up a book, and like, oh, I can order a book at any time without any assistance.
yeah,
And I think that's the goal here.
yeah. I think that's a good goal though. And yeah, I think it's a good thing to keep in mind too.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not trying to take the discussion away from everybody else, but it's a very, very good PowerPoint, very well thought out plan. But when you were going through all the PowerPoint, I'm like thinking, okay, what happens if
It's a complicated system, it is.
it is, and we have to make it, I think we have to make it plain language, but also make it so we have the right technology. I think you have the right technology, don't you? Do it's just making sure that each person understands how to use that technology and have instructions that are easy to understand, so they don't need their caretaker or the guardian to order. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get to. It's like be
that
as
makes
independent
sense.
as possible.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
of course. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ramsey.
Does anybody else have questions for Katie? Because I think there's a ton of people on this call that would benefit from this service. It's totally free. They send you the prayer. You can order whatever books you want. There's no cost for things. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, Denise has a question.
I didn't come in till about 25 after because I couldn't find the link for today. And could I get together with somebody on the call so they can explain to me how to sign up for all this and if I qualify and stuff? So that it doesn't have to be repeated now unless she wants to repeat it.
Oh, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're I don't know you, but we're a free library for anyone with a print disability. So a vision impairment, physical handicap, or reading disability. So I don't know whether or not you would qualify, but to get
Okay.
started, we have an application. And if you would like, I can send out the link to that. And
Yeah. Yes, that would be good. Thank you.
yeah.
And I will send out if Kate would send out the PowerPoint and her
Of course.
information, I will send out that to the people who are on the call today.
Yeah, I'll
And-
definitely send that.
And then you can contact her at your convenience, at your leisure, when you have time. That's what I mean.
Okay,
So
thank you.
you're welcome, Denise.
And Denise, if you need the number is 1-800-242-8822. And they are very helpful because I'm a user myself. So yeah, I'm sure you qualify.
Well, I can turn pages and I don't have any problem reading per se, so that's why I say that. So, but anyway, I'll follow up and see.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone has last minute questions, we will let Katie go. She
Yeah.
did a wonderful presentation today. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much for having me. I was glad
Yeah.
to be here. So
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you.
Ted, do you have any questions?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yeah, that's what I said. If anyone doesn't have any, hold on, I probably have to type something. Chess is going in and out all the time today. Do you?
This is a wonderful service. I actually use it myself, so
Okay.
it would be very beneficial for you. So thank you.
Chaz is coming back on. Chaz is coming. He's going in and out all the time, Ramsey, today. So hold on one
Yep,
moment.
okay. Hey, there he is. Says, do you have any questions?
I think I already have the service. Is this the same one?
What, Larry?
I think I already subscribed to the service.
Oh, okay.
Milwaukee Free.
Okay. Okay. Do
excellent.
you have any questions, Larry, for Katie at all?
No, not really. I usually get my the catalog through the service mailed to me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it looks like. And Cindy, oh, Cindy said, where is it? Cindy said, no, I really enjoyed the presentation today. That's what
Excellent.
Cindy said. So, and go ahead, Ramsey, if you have anything else to say.
I mean, really, it's a great service. The one thing that I would really like to work on is getting the Hudson on Newsline. I know they've had trouble with that, but I would really like to see if we can get that on. Yeah.
Could you repeat that, Ramsey? I'm sorry.
I just said it's a great service, so
Okay.
I would highly recommend it.
Well, thank you.
Especially the descriptive videos, because they have descriptive videos that will describe you based on audio. And I don't have a list of those, but that would be great for you. And I think it's great that the services are there. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Yep. Thank you, Katie, and I
Of
appreciate
course.
your work and appreciate your work in the disability community. And you should be,
Yeah, I'm glad to be here today. Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming. So
Yep.
I guess if
Thank
there's
you.
no more questions, I'll let you guys go. So
Yep.
all
Alrighty.
right.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.